Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a fun little summer set. It's a gel X set. I did this, I think last summer. So this is definitely not a new video. I mean, it's new to y'all, but I did it a while ago. But isn't this fun, unique? It's like I don't know, it makes me feel like kind of futuristic, like summer in the future, you know what I mean? So this is my client's nails when she came in. I was not doing her nails. This was a one-time appointment. Well, I used to do her nails pre-pandemic, but she wanted a one-time appointment. So we went ahead and did that. So this is just the status of her nails. I don't know what she had going on, but I know that she had some flaking of the actual layers of her nail, and I kind of just buffed over that real quick. And I'm removing the cuticle, any cuticle that she has grown on the nail plate, which is, the dead skin. Want to make sure we get that off. If I sound crazy, guys, my allergies. For some reason, I thought it was a good idea to go outside for a quick second to get some sunlight before I recorded this. So my apologies. Well, I'm using the skinny mini bit from Light Elegance, and it's a diamond bit. You can find many and plenty of good diamond bits. If you're not able to purchase from Light Elegance, I definitely recommend Erica's ATA or Atwood Industries, of course. So I'm just using this as parallel to the natural nail as possible. I'm using this on a speed that's about 7,000 to 8,000 RPMs. And because it's a diamond bit, it has a texture similar to a sanding band, if you will. It's perfectly safe to use on the natural nail at a low speed, low pressure, and make sure you're not digging in. So I go over the entirety of the nail just to remove shine and buff. So beyond cleaning the actual cuticle off the nail surface, we add that little aspect of buffing, so it's like a little 2-in-1. And how many, different prep tools you use is a lot of it's up to you and depends on the status of the client's nails. So now I'm using the buffy bit from Light Elegance, and I'm using this to remove any of the dead skin that'll flake away on her eponychium, on her actual live skin, and around the sidewalls and things like that. You can buff any calluses down with this. I like to use it the same as on the nail plate, between 6,000 to 8,000 RPMs. And you can see that little bit of skin just flaking off. It's kind of satisfying, right? So she doesn't really have a lot of kind of dead, flaky skin that I'm trying to remove. So the little bit she does have comes off really fairly easily. And we're just trying to clean that up as much as possible. It's not going to look 100% perfect. And I'm just using this. And this is kind of out of the norm for me. I'm using this from right to left, which is forward. I usually use this buffy bit in reverse. Me being right-handed is reverse. But I guess this is around the time when I first got it. I was using it this way. But I like to use it both ways, and I urge you to use your bits both ways, especially specifically and especially when doing prep, just because you can get the skin from different angles. And so depending on, what the client has going on, you may want to explore using it in forward and reverse. So I'm going in and buffing the back of my Gel X tips. I already sized them to her, and I'm using, this is just a diamond bit. I don't know if it's the Cutie Patootie bit from Light Elegance. I believe it might be. Either way, it's a diamond bit. I'm just roughing up the surface. This is before I got the Apres Gel X, the prep. I have it right in front of me. It's called, the acid-free tip primer, the Gel X prep. You can use that instead of buffing. And I dusted them off, and I'm using a little Young Nails Protein Bond on the back of the actual Gel X tips, just because it's a primer, it helps with adhesion. So then I'm spraying some alcohol, dusting off the nails, getting them nice, clean, and ready to go. So I'm using Light Elegance's Air Bond. I wanted to use it for this client. Like I said, this was a one-time appointment, but she's been my client before a long time. I understand kind of with her nails, how they last and stuff. So I feel like Air Bond was really important, just because her nail beds can be a little moist. So after that, I'm going in and something I don't do now. This is the Gel Bottle Inks Rubber Base Coat. So I applied the Air Bond, and then I'm using, after I let that dry for about 20-30 seconds, I'm using their rubber base coat. I no longer use that, especially in this process. But yeah, I don't have the product at all. So that's a little different, but that's what I did. Like I said, this was from last summer. After that, I cured the rubber base coat, I'm going in with the Apres Extend Gel. And I'm applying it a base layer over the entirety of her natural nail. And then I'm going through the center and adding more product. This is because the tips that I'm using are the sculpted Apres Gel X tips, which means they have a higher curve if you move from left to right of the nail, a deeper C curve. So some people think the apex is higher when they're talking about like the sculpted ones or natural. It's the actual C curve itself is a little tighter. So because my client's nails are flat, I'm essentially filling in that part where the C curve is high, has that high arch, and that's through the center of her nail. So you see, just applying more product through that space. So it fills in that empty space between the flatness of my client's nails and the curve of the actual tip. So once I get that as a base layer, I go ahead and cure it on all 10 nails. I did about 2 nails at a time. So then I'm going to apply the actual Gel X tips. So what I like to do is I estimate about the actual length of the nail, and then I apply a little bit more towards the back. And I'm following just Apres general instructions, apply it at a 45-degree angle, pushing the product forward. Once I get it where I like, make sure there's no air bubbles, nothing oozing out as much as possible. Cleaning that up underneath, then I'm going to flash cure with my LED little flashlight. And again, this is a long time ago, and I was just complaining about it on a recent video when my flashlight's not strong enough. As you can see, I'm like trying to shake the battery. So I guess. Anyways, one of the ladies who took my one-on-one classes, she purchased me one of the standing like flashlight thingies. I don't know how to call it. A flash cure LED lamp thing. Anyways, I'm super excited. I don't want to put it on Front Street. You might want to be private. But if you're watching, girl, thank you so much. And of course, if you're interested in one-on-one classes, email me at tabithascott.classes@gmail.com. I'm booking from April until July of 2022 in case you're watching this in the year 2080 or something like that. Anyways, so I'm just repeating the same steps. Again, this isn't an in-depth like Gel X application thing, and I'm mixing like product and stuff like that. But on their own like page, I think they even have a YouTube channel on their Instagram. Definitely check it out. They have a lot of good information and recommendation on how to apply their product and get the most wear out of it. So I'm just repeating this process. Again, I'm applying essentially what would be a slip layer if I was on the actual natural nail. So that's why I kind of polish it down first and then apply a bigger bead towards the cuticle area and then press it forward. Now, if I had my lamp that I do now, this would be a much easier process. Also, as I spoke about in a previous Gel X application video, I now want to switch my application. This is a habitual thing, but I want to apply it with one hand where I place my middle finger under the client's hand and apply the tip with the thumb, if that makes sense. But holding it towards the free edge so I can just flash cure the whole entire nail bed. Yeah, that's my goal. That's what I'm going to try to do as I move forward in life. So, you see, I'm just continuing this application and just pushing that product forward, getting it flash cured. Once we get it flash cured, I go ahead and have my client put it in the light for the recommended full time. Just make sure it's fully cured. So I have her put it in about 60 seconds in the LED light just to make sure and get a full cure. We want to make sure that, we don't have any issues in that regard. But also to make sure when you're doing any gel type, especially when you're building enhancement, it doesn't matter. In general, if you're working with a client or even on yourself, always keep an eye out for them thumbs. Make sure your thumbs are cured on all levels, all regard. Just because they sit at a weird angle in the light, make sure you're putting some type of process in place to ensure that your client's thumbs are fully cured. or yourself if you're doing your own nails. Anyways, as you can see with this nail, I had a issue with the application. Kind of swiped that product down, reapplied. At the cuticle area, you can see where the tip is on all of them. I go in with finish filing and make sure the cuticle area is nice and flush. Besides that, I do like to go in and hand shape the actual tips. And right there, you see I'm separating where the gel got on her skin. It's not really painful. It's kind of that, y'all got y'all nail done before. You know, it's kind of a satisfying thing to do to separate it, but it happens. So I'm just cutting the length off some. She didn't want as short as the long length Apres Gel X. These are the extra long. She kind of wanted in between, so I just cut them down just a little bit. And I'm using, I think that was the mean green from, or it was the shade, I think it's the Speedy bit from like Elegance. Yeah, that's what I think it is. Anyway, so I'm going in with, I forget what this bit is called. It's from like Elegance as well, but it's a carbide bit. It has actual little flutes on it. So I'm going in and tapering that cuticle area like I spoke about, because we don't want these to look like press-ons. We want them to look like a regular enhancement and nice and beautiful and flush to the flushed around the cuticle area. Not the actual cuticle, because that's what we remove, but we know that, but we just call it the cuticle area. So I'm just using this bit, and I'm using it at about 12,000 RPMs. Make sure when you're using gel products that you remove the tacky layer very well, especially around the cuticle area, just because that bit gets a little mucky with the gel. So I have to go in off camera, and I have a bit cleaning tool that I also got from Atwood Industries and kind of clean that out. Anyway, so I'm going in with my crosscut bit. I think this is the shaper bit from like Elegance. Again, Atwood Industries has a great crosscut bit as well if you can't purchase from like Elegance. And I'm going in, and I'm not trying to shape the surface of the nail. These tips are shaped perfectly as far as like the surface, the smoothness. I'm just going in and lightly buffing. I'm not really removing product. I'm just removing shine. Simultaneously, I am adding a little more pressure around the cuticle area to ensure that it is nice and flush. So that previous bit kind of debulked the cuticle area a little bit, and this is just going in and refining it, making sure it's tapered, fitting it nice and tight around that cuticle area, around those side walls. You want that when you're applying enhancements in general, a product in general. Tammy Taylor, I've watched her videos, and she says the best, like a hair's distance away, like the width of a hair is the distance you want between the actual alive skin and the enhancement. Just that much. So we're trying to make sure it's nice and flush, and we have that hair's distance. We try to consider it when we're doing application, but that's kind of what you want to go for. Get it as close as possible. That's going to help with nail longevity. So they look better as they grow out, but then they last a little bit longer. So then I'm going in with Jimmy Gel. I like this color. I thought I would. It's a little bit too fair. I thought the sheer pink would work, but we ended up not liking that. And if you're going to use this, I said it before, you can kind of use this as polishing. Apply the Light Elegance Tack beforehand to ensure good adhesion. There wasn't a problem with this, but just rather be safe or sorry, especially if you go in and shape any of it over the Gel X. If you're going to apply this for whatever reason, apply Light Elegance's Tack first, or even Young Nails Protein Bond, and let that dry, just to make sure that you have one adhesion from one product to the next. Besides that, do as I say, not as I do. At this current day, I would apply it like that. So just adding that. So I ended up polishing over that with this color, the Presto SC 158. And to get the kind of nude that the client was looking for. Still a little bit sheer, has very much brown and peach tones in it, and it is a great contrast for the bright neon colors that we're going to be using today. So I didn't get a clip of the actual colors. I apologize again for the 18th million times, the older video. I can't rightly remember all the colors. I believe this one is a color from the Gel Bottle ink. I know the yellow is a yellow from, I never know how to pronounce it properly, Lechat or Lechat or Lechat. Anyways, I'm going to say Lechat. It's a yellow from Lechat. It's not my favorite as far as actual like product consistency. The color yellow, the actual shade of yellow, I really appreciate. And it goes with the Swarovski crystals we're going to be using, because that was the main importance. Well, the concept, I wouldn't say the main importance. The concept was to have 5 different colors matching the Swarovski neon or the electric crystals. I'm using the Delights for this set, which I appreciate more than the regular neons, or what are they, the electric ones. So each of the colors, again, I think this one is from Gel Bottle Ink as well, this purpley color. Each of these 5 colors were the best that matched the Swarovski Electric Delights. So that's what happened here. I think most of these are Gel Bottle Ink colors. I think this one is called Pink Purple, if I'm not mistaken, because I feel like it wasn't the craziest name ever, Purple Pink or something like that. Anyways, past that, I think I'm using the Poochie's Nails liner brush, or the Wildflowers. I recently got the Daily Charm art liner brush I've been enjoying. Of course, you can always use the Daily Charm code Tabitha, the number 10, if you want to purchase from there. I talked about it in a previous video though. So, whatever liner brush is good for you. And I'm trying to perfect this. And this was actually very hard for me. I didn't speak to what's happening. You see me kind of clean it up with another brush, because to make the French line, I can do that all day. The thing is balancing that thickness of the actual line. It's like usually I go in and just paint the whole tip. You know what I mean? But I had to get the thickness of the line balanced. It was a little bit thicker through here where I'm drawing that straight line down. And this, after doing several of them, I found this was my best technique, is to kind of get it matching on the left side of the nail, the right side of the nail, to start at the sidewall to draw my arch. I was comparing the nails to each other to make sure I had the distance about the same as the next nail, just to get them as even and symmetrical as possible. Not gonna be perfect, but we try our best. And then to draw that straight line down and then go ahead and fill it in. What I always like to do when drawing Frenches or anything that needs to have balance and symmetry, I like to turn the hand over so that the palm is facing up, and then you get a better vantage point like this. I know it's out of camera, but you see what I mean. That's why I added this clip. So I have her turn her hand this way just to kind of make sure that it looks right. And you'll gain a whole new perspective if you just turn the hand that way when you're working on a client or even on yourself. So then I'm going in and applying just this straight line at the bottom. Well, I already did that. I'm using the Light Elegance Butter Bling, the hollow one. Again, I recently had a video of me using that product. It's a great one to have around. It's just, it's just a holographic. It's just holographic. You kind of need that. Just a beautiful holographic gel. Definitely recommend. I love the way it applies. The fact that you can do things like this, like artwork, is great for full coverage. Yeah, I recommend. Definitely. Once we get that done and cured, and I'm curing all between applying these different elements, we are going to apply crystals. Like I said, I'm using the Swarovski Electric Delight. They're actually like sparkle and have this like blue element to it. I really enjoy them. So I'm just buffing off the nail where I'm going to apply these stones. It's just going to be at the back. It's going to be one of the Electric Delights, the one that corresponds to the color of the nail. And then it's going to be one Swarovski AB crystal in the smaller size. Really simple. I'm applying it with a nail resin. Use a nail resin of your choice. And then I'm just using my crystal katana. And like I said, because I'm trying to get this even on the nail, this is how I apply this. So you can apply it, traditionally with the hand, the palm facing down, and then go in and flip the hand over just to see. But I decided, sometimes depending on what I'm doing, especially things like this, I just like to hold the hand up this way and go ahead and apply, the crystals, the design, the line work whatever it may be, just because, again, you get that better vantage point. You can make sure it's straight. You can make sure it's straight in comparison to each other. And yeah, so I definitely recommend if you can get your hand on. And I know Swarovski is not so much of a thing anymore with my air quotes, but if you see one that is the same type of crystal, this neon crystal with that delight kind of blue shimmer effect, I definitely recommend. They're so beautiful. And traditional stones before Swarovski made these electric colors, they didn't really get bright or neon. So you couldn't find a purple crystal that was like actual neon. It would look kind of muted, or especially any pink. Any pink you really couldn't find. So even if they're not the delights, definitely recommend that you have them in your kit to approach life. But I recommend the delights or whatever the imitating effect is of the delights. So I'm sealing around the stones with a no wipe top coat. I'm using a sealer pen. I believe it's the one from Daily Charm, the Seal It Up pen. Again, Tabitha 10, of course, as you know. In the description bar, you can follow a link as well to shop through. But you don't really need that. You can use a top coat and a little liner brush to go around. And you see, once, I didn't know if she wanted to do matte or shiny, or I would have done this all in one step. I could have sealed around it and applied my no wipe top coat in one step. But I remember we didn't know matte or shiny, so I went ahead and sealed around them. Then she decided, so I went and applied my top coat. So I'm using, and I see I got it on her skin. I wiped it off. You want to make sure you really wipe it off before they go in the light, maybe with a little bit of alcohol. So make sure you do that. Be better than me always. So I'm going in with my no wipe top coat. I couldn't tell you which one I'm using at the time. I have my seasons. Currently, I'm on my second bottle of the Daily Charm, the Diamond Shine one, if you care to know that. So, yeah. So I'm just sealing around. They're basically, the crystals got double sealed in, which doesn't hurt. And we want to make sure when we seal in our crystals all the time, we don't go over the stones. Don't go over stones. Don't go over your stones. Don't let anybody go over your stones. Go around them and go up to the edge of the stones. You want to cover the lip of them a little bit because you want to get it sealed in. You want to make sure hair doesn't get caught under or anything like that. You want to reduce that risk. So because the crystal has a flat back and the surface of the nail is curved, you're going to need some gel to go in between where those two don't meet. That's just how shapes don't line up. That's just what it is. So once we top coat around those crystals, that is it. That's our final look. So guys, what do you feel about this look? Tell me. I like it. Like I said, it makes me feel like summer in the future or something like that. I really love it. It's nice and clean. Like I said, the color, the base color really makes those neons pop. The coordination of the crystals as well. I really enjoy 5 different colors. And you see that delight effect, just how that sparkles, how that little tinge of blue comes into play. I think it's really cute. It's cute. So go ahead. What's our emoji today? I don't know. What's summer? Is there like a beach ball or something? Is there a beach ball emoji? I don't know. Put something that summer, y'all. Put a comment. You know that helps me in the algorithm. And that's what I ask. I give you, again, the best content I can put out here. And I just ask for a like, a thumbs up, a subscribe, ring the bell. Make sure you have your notifications turned on your phone. Say allow notifications from YouTube. All right. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and comment. Bye.